Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Thank you. Just a few short weeks ago, Okayama played host to the Week 13 playoffs, and our viewers were treated to an amazing race in the rain with a massive 50-plus car grid. What are the chances we get another dose of wet weather? Well, none for qualifying, but an 80% chance of rain during the race today. That's sure to make things quite spicy. Welcome into the Weekend Warriors, Formula Ford edition, and happy Easter to those who celebrate. I'm Charles Beauchelle. Flying solo in the commentary booth today. As always, our man Josh Wilkie will be pushing all the right buttons in the virtual production trailer. As we get settled in, let's take a look at the current standings in qualifying. Get that graphic up. There we go. And thank you very much there, Josh. And as we see, we have Jean Pereira sitting at P1 in qualifying, Aero Nam in P2, Sam Spinell in third, and that is in the Spec 1 class. And our top three in Masters is Alan Degassis, who is in P5 overall. Antonio Race is in P6, and Chris Murakami is in P11. In Spec 2, we have Julian Ditchburn in P9 overall. We have Morin Human in P13 overall, second in Spec 2. And then rounding out the podium for Spec 2 is Kaj Hanston. So there's your top three in each class so far. As you can see, they're still out on track in qualifying. So we've still got about another 8 or so minutes left to go. And so as they're still trying to set laps in, let's take a look at our championship standings for currently for the season. And in Spec 1, we have Yangshi Lin leading with 186 points. Simon Ball in second, having a great season so far, 172 points. And Trenton Kramer, elevated from Spec 2 last season, is in P3 in the championship at 146 points. Jason Green, Zhao Tubino round out your top five. And then we have Chris Simpson, Michael McConnell, Tom Laurie, Jean Pereira, and Jeff Jacobson rounds out your top 10. Still pretty tight early in the season as we roll over to Spec 2. We have David Foy leading with 118 points. Paul Stevens only 1 point behind in second. Wilson Brzarosco in P3. Julian Ditchburn, Adam Barney in your top five. We have Peter True, Tim Staino, Russ Telker, Jason Grider, and David Payne rounding out your top 10. as again, still early in the season, so the points are still pretty tight. Couple ties in there, as a matter of fact. As we look at Masters, Chris Murakami leading the Masters division with 141 points. Jorg Monty in second, Dana Bose in third, Gary Wolbolt in fourth, Brad Cathcart in fifth, Antonio Race, Nick Tola, John Toms, Jim Brewster, Alan DeGassis round out your top 10. It's still only about less than 80 points separating first through 10th. So still a lot to play for here in the session. As we get back to qualifying, we'll just keep an eye on this as we see Aeronam going up to the top of the board with a 136.25, 500 seconds faster than Jean Pereira. Still very, very close. We're looking at about 14 cars within a second of pole. So still got a lot to play for as we're here at Okayama again, and we mentioned this at the Open. Looking at the weather forecast for today's race, obviously the Formula Fords are rain enabled. Should be very dry during quali, as we see as Josh pulls up the track temp there. 97 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temp, which I believe is about 37 degrees Celsius. 67 air temp, so quite comfortable. The track temp a little warmer than probably you would like for these cars, so they'll be a little more slidey, but then that's just going to make things that much more interesting. And as I said, looking at the weather forecast, 80% chance of rain during the race. So if you were with us last week and saw us at Lake Sebring, I think it was about a 70 or 75% chance going into that race, and it was basically just a deluge. So we'll wait around and we'll see what's going to happen once we roll over into the race grid. With still about 5.5 minutes left. See Kabanka up into the top 5 now. Antonio Race in P6. Ditchburn and Human up to 12th and 13th. Jim Brewster's making his way up. He's in 14th now as the times just continue dropping down. Looking at down the list here, Brad Cathcart down in P21. Josh Justice looks like he's returned back. He's in P25. Though we've missed him for a couple of races this season. So I know for sure Josh is one of those SCCA guys that actually drive in real life. So he may have been out at a track somewhere getting himself some laps in his SRF3 that he drives. So it's good to see him back on the grid, though, as we get another lap for him. And he's moved, I believe, up the list. Nope, still down at P26. All right, so we're looking here at Simon Ball, who had a purple sector 1, and we'll see how he continues on here. Looks like he's pretty good. This is a very, we've talked about this, a very, it's a fast track because there's a lot of really, really open corners. But then here in this middle sector, it's very technical. You have to really have your momentum and be able to manage your momentum and shift the car's weight around to get around these very tight corners. So some good passing opportunities, especially down in there before we get to those last couple of corners before the end of the lap. If you get on the brakes and you're really good with managing the brakes, you can get some good passes made during the race. As we see Ball come around, it puts him up into P5. So good lap out of Ball for 136.434. Just a couple of tenths off of pole. Trent Kramer in the pits. We're going to come right here to Julian Ditchburn, who's on his lap as well. So as we've seen, normally the last couple of at least this year in particular, this season in particular, we get a little flurry of activity toward the end of the race, the end of qualifying, and the lap times drop significantly and a lot of shuffling at the very end. So we'll see if that's is more common this year. For seasons past, not so much. Normally by 15-minute mark in qualifying, everybody's got what they're going to get. So we're not going to have any. We don't usually have any late qualifying changes. But this year's been a little different story. I wonder if that's because of just maybe some increase in qualifying practice from some of these drivers, as we see Cash Hansen coming down into the hairpin. And one of the reasons we used this for the Week 13 playoffs, excuse me, if you weren't here for that, Okayama's had a bit of an update, so we've got some 3D curbs. We've got a little bit of a artistic update to the track surface itself, and seems like it's made a little difference on how these guys approach this race. The curb's not necessarily your best friend if you're driving the Formula Ford car, as we see Hansen just looping it, just carrying a little too much speed through that section of the track. So that's going to invalidate his lap, and he's going to tow back to the pits with 1 minute and 40 seconds or so left. Not sure that he's going to be able to get back around in time to get another hot lap in before it's all over. So that may be him done and dusted for the qualifying session. Get a look here at Jason Green coming down into the hairpin. There's a couple of good lines through here and some good overtaking advantages if you can make the car work around the inside of that corner. But sometimes the fastest way around is going to be on that outside line where you can just carry more momentum mid-corner all the way around through it and then out the back to this long straightaway, and then a heavy braking zone at the end of that into that technical section of track I was referring to earlier. And a couple of 90-degree left-handers here. Turn 6 and 7, also known as, I believe, the revolver, as we come down here to turn 8, which is Redmond. And then really have to get the car slowed up to try and get a good line on entry here for turn 9, Hobbs, and then Knight corner, and then the last corner, which is named the last corner. So obviously very matter of fact there. All right, so now we're approaching in the qualifying. Seeing Jason Green get his final lap in. He does have a chance to get around for another lap. So if he decides to take that, he'll be able to finish this lap up as the clock hits 20 minutes, which means everybody from this point forward, once you cross the start-finish line, you are done for qualifying. So we see Michael McConnell currently in P12. Working his way around. He's behind Jason Green. See some cars parked over on the side of the track there. Christian Kabanka. Yeah, very nice colorful livery there by Kabanka as we come down to finish off his final lap. And that puts him up into P3 with a 136.31. He's 700ths of a second off pole, and he's 100th of a second off Pereira in P2. So great lap at the end there by Kabanka. Peter True coming into the pits. So getting some instructions that can't hear from Stevie Ray, talking to a couple of the drivers here at the end of qualifying. Antonio Race with a P9. That's going to be the end of his qualifying. As the qualifying here is finishing up, I mean, pretty tight grid. Looking at it through, it's the top 16 within 1 second. Top 17 within 1 second. Whoa, wow. Joao Tabino, the very last of qualifying, sets pole time 136.183. Great lap by Tabino. Pip's nom is the very last second. So congratulations to him. As we get the rest of the cars off the track, we'll reset and we'll give you your starting grid. Wonder if we're going to get a long out lap or a short one. We'll find out, and you'll know by the panic in my voice if it's a short one, because we've got about 36 cars on the grid. So it looks like 35 set qualifying times. And we'll see. We're waiting on, I think Antonio Race is still out, and there we go. That's removed him from getting his last few laps in, as we have our starting grid. All right, on pole, Joao Tabino with a great lap, 136.183. Aaron Nom just 600ths of a second behind in P2. Jean Pereira, Christian Kabanka on row 2. Yongxi Lin, Jason Green on row 3. Sam Spinell, Simon Ball on row 4. Antonio Race, head of the Masters class on P9. And Julian Ditchburn, head of the Spec 2 class in P10. Alan DeGassis in 11th. Michael McConnell in 12th. Chris Murakami in 13th. Trenton Kramer in 14th. Benjamin Harris and Tom Laurie on row 8, Morn Human and Jim Brewster on row 9, Dana Bowes and Jason Perry round out your top 20. Cash Hansen and David Foy, 21st and 22nd, Jeff Jacobson and league organizer Stevie Ray on row 12, Gary Wobolt and Brad Cathcart on row 13, Pedro Carvalho, Philip Fernandez on row 14, Josh Justice, Peter True rounds out your top 30. Paul Jackson, Sander Verbruge, 31st and 32nd. Wilson Bruzarosco in 33rd. Antonio Gonzalez in 34th. Russ Telker in 35th. And John Toms rounds out your 36-car grid. John did not set a time, so we've got plenty of time now. Because look, we've got a full lap of out lap. So we'll just kind of sit back and wait for these guys to get rolling here. As we're sitting here, and I'm sitting there listening to Stevie Ray. With some final instructions to all the drivers, tell them about the broadcasts and the interviews after the race, so we should get some good comments from our high finishers in each class after the race is over with. And this is our short lap. As we see, we're coming through turn 8 now, round through Hobbs. So everything looks good. Looks like we got some clear weather, so don't see anything on the horizon here. Looks like everything's going to be okay. Looks like we're going to have a nice dry race tonight, so that's going to make for some interesting racing. As we come down with Joao Tabino leading the field down. Pace car's already made his way down pit road, and we're just waiting on Joao to pick it up the pace. And looks like we're off and running. With a good jump by Tabino, moves out to the outside in front of Nam. We see some 3 wide in the background. Turn 1 always a little treacherous on the first lap. So far everything looks, we have 1 spinner around. I think that was Stevie Ray. I'm not sure, but it looked like that's who that was. Let's see. We can get a look back at that. I think it was. So Stevie already with a bad start to the race. Yep. That is the 911 of Stevie Ray. He's off and towing back to the pits. See another drop where Jason Perry's off the track somewhere. We'll see if we can catch what that was. Coming down into the hairpin. Car looks like it's got some damage to it. Tabino out front, kind of weaving his way, trying to get a little extra heat in the tires. We make it down in here into the second hairpin. And through Revolver, very, very treacherous to here. Have to be very careful. 2 wide doesn't always work with any cars, even these small cars that we're dealing with here in the Formula 4s. But a good start by Tabino, trying to get a nice little gap out. Pulled out about a 1-second lead already, so he's trying to see if he can get himself out of the slipstream. That's going to be the key for him to have a successful race. And stay out front. Is they manage to track him back down and they get back in his draft. It'd be quite easy to just catch back up. Looks like everybody's out single file. You can see him moving around, and you see the draft snake coming down the front stretch as people just try to stay in there and get that toe, try and maximize their pace coming down the straight away. See a nice move on to the inside there by Kabanka, pick up a spot over to Gassis. pulls him up into the top 15. He dropped also early in the race. He's down 10 positions from his start, so kind of interesting to see what we might have there. We see another 2 wide dive into the Atwood corner. And we got a replay coming up from Josh. This is our start of the race. We're focused in on Stevie Ray. So man in the middle there, coming through the corner. Oh, just a little wheel-to-wheel contact and spins the car around to the inside wall. We see another incident also, probably just from everybody checking up. I'm not really sure who that was. That might have been, is that Perry? No, that was Jacobson. That was Jacobson. Here's Jason Perry's incident that he had on lap 1. Oh, yeah, just somebody that was, just somebody got a little loose, maybe checked up. And Perry didn't really have anywhere to go. And now we're going to get a replay back on Jacobson. Looked like he was already involved in that incident from earlier and is already in the back of the field. So we'll get back to the live action here. We see him making his way around for the next lap, coming through turn 1 to be still out to that 1.3 second lead. Nom stretched himself out. He's got about 0.8 of a second over Spinell in third. Antonio Race, nice gains up to P4 overall. So just kind of knocking on the door of that overall podium, leading the Masters class. Pereira, Ball, Green, Kramer, and Lynn. Then we've got Spec 2 leader Ditchman. Oh, there's a little side-by-side contact there with the 76 car. That's Ball making his way around Pereira, I believe. So that was a very interesting little move, but very nicely done. A little touch, but no damage to either car. So they can continue on. See the fight back there. Lynn making the move on the inside, getting past Kramer. See Lynn down 3 positions from the start of the race. So he's trying to make up some of that time that he's lost since the beginning as we're coming around for lap 3. Still pretty much status quo in the front. Get an on board here with Chris Murakami as we're coming down here into this corner. Redmond, very, very difficult. Like I said, you have to just kind of bleed the speed off and try and get and open this corner up Hobbs. Otherwise, you just kind of get out of sync, out of rhythm, and it becomes you lose a lot of time through there. So it's that turn 8 is just crucial to get everything lined up for those last few corners before the start-finish line straight. So we're looking through the order here. We've got Sandra Bruges up 10 spots. We got a replay here. This is Tom Laurie. Looking to the Cabanca, looking to the inside there. Makes that pass. Nice and easy. No real fight. Like Laurie just kind of let him, give him the room. And it was a nice, easy move by Cabanca. That's got him up to P13. We're taking a look again with Chris Murakami. Looks like he's behind the 393 of Julian Ditchburn, our Spec 2 leader. Murakami is in second in the Masters class, but he's several positions off of Antonio Race as we speak. 3 wide. Oh, no, big crash there, Cash Hansen. Just like he got on the inside curb and unsettled the car. Trying to see who that was that is also involved in that. Josh Justice, maybe. Bruiser Roscoe is in the pits now, so he might have been involved in that as well. He's all been in the pit for a minute already. We get a replay back. We've got Hansen, the 240 car, looking, coming down to the inside. That is Justice in the middle now, and just loses the car. I'm trying to see who that was on the outside. Couldn't quite catch the number. So as we continue over the race rules, Hansen's has dropped down to 29th as we get a look here at Trenton Kramer. Now we're going 3 wide with Kramer. That's with McConnell in the 62. And that is, I believe, Ditchburn behind them. It is indeed. coming down into Atwood. You see really three distinct lines through there. Just everybody's just finding room to race. That's a very open corner. Very easy to make passes around there. As you can see, very easy to take alternate lines through and just keep your momentum up. So great bit of driving by all those drivers there. As we see Quebec move to the inside, looking to get around Ditchburn there, able to make that pass. Now he's got his sight set on Trenton Kramer up in the 20 car. And this is, and there's Murakami around. That almost felt like there might have been some contact behind. So we would definitely want to see a replay of that. That was Ditchburn who had just towed. So Murakami, obviously, got to be careful, don't back into the wall. So nicely done by Murakami to get the car righted. But yeah, so we'll have to get a replay of that as we get it pulled up from Josh. You can just see there's a lot of cars in one spot there. They're coming through Revolver. Yep, just almost like netcode, but definitely wheel-to-wheel contact between Ditchburn and Murakami. Couldn't see who that was that gave Ditchburn the roll there, but so that's put Ditchburn down as he's towed back to the pits. He's dropped down to 33rd. Murakami is still in the fight, but he's down into 26th. See Van der Bruges up 7 positions. He at one point was the high water mark as far as positions gained, but he's given that up. So now that is a tie between Carvalho in P17 and Justice in P19, up 10 positions each. So both those drivers are having a pretty good race thus far. As we're back with Simon Ball, looking around, trying to see if he can get a pass done on Pereira. Coming out of Revolver, coming down into Redmond. All looking for that inside move. Yep, just kind of lost the rear there a little bit. Had to check up, reset the car. So no pass made. And we'll ride around again. He's probably just see if he can line it up and see if he can get a good run as we see Ditchburn coming out of the pits. So he can get a good run down the front stretch. Able to make that pass going into turn 1. Looks like he's got some pretty good pace thus far. As we see pit time so far, and these are guys that have been have already been in the wars, so to speak. Human and Jacobson, Ditchburn, Bruiser Roscoe looks like he's back in for a second pit stop. It is indeed, and he missed his box, had to back up a little bit. So, add that to the list of bad things happening for him today. Oh, wow. So as we see, Sam Spinell up into P2. Fight hard with Arrow Nom there. Arrow, the inside line, tries to get a good run down the straightaway. He's going to have the advantage going into the next turn. But Spinell, with good pace down the straightaway, is able to capitalize and keep that spot. So now he's up into P2. And did a good job. He's about 8/10 behind Nom a couple of laps ago, so he's done a good job to make that up, unless Nom had a mistake, which I don't see. Looks like Nom's been running really good pace up front. You see Josh Justice on the inside here, making a move around Cathcart. Nicely done. As they head through Revolver. Just start stretching that gap. So obviously Justice has got some good pace up to P16, having a good run. Now he's about 4 seconds behind Carvalho, so he's got a bit of work to do now to get up to challenge for another position. Looking here at Wobolt, running in 19th. That's P5 and 6 in class. So having a good run thus far. He is up 6 positions. Gaps are starting to stretch out a little bit, so there's still a few battles on track as we see Ball, Pereira, Jason Green, Dongshi Lin. They're in a group of 4. They are about 2.5 seconds behind Race in 4th. and races a second behind Nom in third place. And we saw that battle with Nom and Spinell. Meanwhile, up front, Tabino's up 2.5 second lead so far. We're 12 minutes into the race. So Tabino's setting himself a good pace out there. He's going to be the man to beat for this race. Yep, as we catch him here, coming out of Redmond and into Hobbs. See that gap, 2.5 seconds. Back to Spinell and Nom. Race looks like he's working hard trying to close that gap down. He's got it down to 1.1. Green into the pit lane early. Early stop for Green. So he's going to try that undercut. Got out of that group of Ball, Pereira, and Lynn. And, yep. So we're going to see if the undercut works for Green. So we'll be monitoring his progress as the race goes on. This is it's about as early as you want to stop for this race, 13-minute mark. So this is probably just right on the edge of what I would see as the pit window. See him coming out. He's coming out right behind Sandover Bruges, coming out in 25th position. Good stop for Green, 12.3 seconds. So we'll monitor that versus the front runners as they make their way into the pits over the next 20 minutes or so. Look at Ball. Still has Pereira and Lynn in tow. Still that 2.5 second gap up to race, so really haven't made up any ground yet. And race is still 1.4 back from Nom, so he's kind of static there. So it looks like these cars are basically running similar lap times. So not really any gain or loss amongst that top 7. Look here at Philip Fernandez, another group of about 4 cars there. That is, I believe, Cathcart leading that group. David Foy in 18th. So Cathcart, Fernandez, Foy, and Wobolt is the little group of cars we're looking at here. We see, yeah, nice little move down. Nice job by Fernandez to make that move and hold it. We see now, it's like Foy is trying to make that move as well. We got a little intermixed battle here between Spec 2s and Masters. So far, no issues. Everybody's making their passes. You see Foy looking the outside line, carries a lot more speed into that corner. Gives up just a little bit on exit as Cathcart's able to get back up on the throttle a little bit earlier. So, but now he's moved to the inside. He's got Fernandez up in front with a little bit of a tow. So it should make things a little bit easier as far as, oh no, Fernandez broke very early. That was very close there. Great job by all those drivers to not wreck each other. As we said, Fernandez just broke a little bit earlier than Foy and Cathcart were expecting. You see Wobolt going wide there. That's Chris Murakami working his way through. Little call out there. Oh, and there's a spin. Just a little bit of a call out from, I believe it was Wobolt letting Murakami know to be careful that they were a little racy up front. And I don't think he got the message in time. And a little contact was made between, I believe that was Murakami and I don't think it was Cathcart. I think it might have been Foy. So we'll take a look at that again as we see. No, you know what? Josh is in my ear saying it was Cathcart, and he's absolutely right. That's exactly who it was. Yep, just a little wheel-to-wheel contact. It almost had him cleared, and just not quite enough though. So that was a good run by Murakami, and now that's all spoiled. He's into the pits as well as Cathcart. So both pitting now. A little bit of work to do as we see Yongshi Lin on the outside there of Simon Ball. He's made his way around Herrera. Cathcart now coming out, rejoining the race as we see Kabeka go by. I believe that's going to mean that Cathcart is a lap down to the lead group. Is that right? No, actually no, because Kabeka had already pitted as well, so that was a battle for position. So Kabeka in 26th, Cathcart in 27th, as we see Murakami out, drops him down to P29. And he has a sizable gap up, 11 seconds up to Jacobson. So he's going to be by himself for quite a while until other cars come into the pit. We've still got about 22 minutes left in the race. And we still have about the top half of the field still yet to pit. Some of these guys will hold it until the last minute. So you'll see them coming in at the 30, 31 minute mark. Some of them just split the difference and they'll come in at the halfway point of the race. See a battle here between Harris, Tom Laurie. With this Alan DeGassis up in front. Too wide through Atwood. Still battling side by side. You see Harris and Laurie still fighting. And now we've got DeGassis moved over to the outside line. It's a little bit of a help to the 51 car there as we see Laurie with just a great move on the inside. And now the switch back. That allows that 51 car of Harris to get the spot. So that's changed for position. So we see now DeGassis in P9, Harris in P10, Laurie in P11. DeGassis is second in the Masters class. About Carvalho there in P13. He has got Jim Brewster in front of him. This is the battle for P12. Jim Brewster running third currently in the Masters class. We've got Carvalho and then Dana Bowes running fourth in the Masters class, rounding out that little three-car pack. And since we got Jim on the screen, we'll say hi to Jim's sister Tam in Argentina. He usually watches the broadcasts, so hello to Tam. We'll catch him when he's having a good day, as opposed to normally catch you after he's wrecked. So we see Wobolt into the pits here, coming in 23rd position. So he's going to take his pit stop. Just kind of watching the pit times here. And he is going to be way over time. So this is, and we'll watch this a little more. They either is going to add too much fuel or, yeah, there's a long stop, 26.3 stationary. So that's not really sure what happened there. So we see him come out. He comes out just in front of Chris Murakami. So P28, P29. Fill your top three. Tabino up in first, Spinell in second, Nam in third. The gap has now grown between Tabino and Spinell. It's now 3 seconds. A little further back, 3.5 seconds behind Nam, is Antonio Race leading our Masters class, running P4 overall. And we mentioned earlier, Pedro Carvalho running in 13th. He is leading Spec 2. And he is in a Master Sandwich. And you see, wow, great job by Spinell to hold that. It cost him a little bit of momentum. And so Nam is looking now to the inside to see if he can make that move back around to get back into the second position. Yep, nice. I think Spinell lifted there just a little bit. Nam with an easy overtake. So that's a swap for P2 overall and P2 in Spec 1 class. And it cost him 0.2 of a second to Tabino. So every time these guys fight and get side by side, costs them a little bit of time to the leader. So it's going to be up to maybe somebody with a little pit strategy, try and make up some of that gap, see if they can get up and fight for the overall win. But it's going to take something or a mistake by Tabino, which doesn't happen very often. Most of these drivers are quite good and generally don't make a lot of mistakes on their own. And, you know, so as soon as I say that, somebody's going to. But as we see Human coming out of the pits, coming out in that group, then just behind the overall leader. So he comes out in P28, so he's a lap down until the leader's pit. Murakami coming back out of the pits again. That's, I believe, his second stop. It's his first stop. He just had a spin, so that's what's putting him down the list, or down the order. See Antonio Gonzalez coming out of the pits as well in P30. See Lori going through turn, out of turn 1 through turns 2 and 3. Little S's section there. Try and get take as much of the curbs as you can without upsetting the car. See Justice coming into the pits. Was having a good run, was up several positions, so he's going to give up a little bit of that, a few of those positions to come in and get him some fuel for the rest of the race. We're coming up on the 23.5 minute mark, just passed. Also another long stop, 23 seconds stop. That's a little longer than what we were seeing. Just as a point of reference, Jason Green's early stop was 12.3. He's usually pretty good on fuel, so it's usually a little bit shorter than most other drivers. So, you know, 13 to 14 second stop seems to be the norm here. So that's a little bit longer than what you would expect. Comes out in P25, just behind Cathcart. And we're looking at Simon Ball in P5. He's still got that group with him. That includes Yangshi Lin and Pereira. Still fighting. I think Lin's moved up to the front of this, or I'm sorry, Lin is in second place. Ball's up. I think Lin is not really moving or looking to make a pass. I think he's doing a good job of just staying in line, maybe doing a little fuel conservation here in the mid part of the race. So he's got somebody that's that's fast enough that he can just run behind and save a little bit. Ball doing a good job, as I said, running P5. Taking the inside line, staying defensive as Lin moves to the outside from the overspeed due to the draft. Still side by side. Great bit of driving there. As we see now, Lin has the advantage. Oh, nope, he does not, because Ball was able to get past and stay in front as they come through Revolver. A little short run down. They'll be coming through Redmond. See a battle here with Verbruge. I think that's True on the out. Is that? Let's make sure that's Jackson. Okay. Oh, no. Oh. Little bit early braking there by Jackson. Verbruge definitely wasn't expecting that, and just give him the old chrome bumper, as we would say in NASCAR terms there, and send him into the gravel. I'm sorry, that's Paul Jackson with Verbruge behind. Yeah, just miscommunication there between those two guys. Jackson on the inside felt like he needed to slow down just a little bit early. Verbruge was not expecting it, and the collision was made. As Carvalho and Lin, as we see Lin now exiting the pits. Nice stop by Lin, 12.75. And Green, as a reference, is 3.5 seconds back. And Green with the early stop, trying to get the undercut. Does not like it paid off, because I believe those cars were together before Green pitted. See Carvalho coming out. A little bit longer stop for Carvalho, 18 seconds. So now Green sitting there in P14 overall. Like I said, 3.5 seconds behind Lynn. And has the 229 car in front of him. I believe is a lapped car of Antonio Gonzalez. Antonio trying to take the inside line, give Green the outside, make the way around. Nice bit of sportsmanship there by Gonzalez. Let the fast car through. Then trying to get his a little more heat back in the tires after being stationary for a little while in the pits. See Spinell back into P2. Able to get his way back around Nom. Now that gap up to Dabino is now 4 seconds, so it's continuing to grow as these guys are fighting over P2. Replay here from Josh. See Spinell, they're coming through this. Through 2 and 3. Yep, on the run down into the hairpin, takes the inside line into Atwood. Nice easy pass. Had a good run through the S's there. So great job by Spinell to get that position back. Once again, still costing some time as they continue to battle on track. So it looks like they're content to battle for P2 unless something strange happens and they can get back up to Tabino. That's what they'll be fighting for as we see Tabino coming into the pits now. Nom with a late pit run coming in as well. Not sure if that's going to be a penalty or not. I'm not sure where the penalty points are on that pit entry line because it's basically 2 corners there on the inside. We get a replay here. This is Nom. You see him behind Spinell. You see Tabino up ahead. Oh wow! Yeah, I think that's going to be a penalty. So we'll see. We'll see here. It says, 17 seconds for Nom. I'm sorry, for Tabino. Nom with a 13.2 second stop. So there was not a penalty there. And the extra time that Tabino took on pit entry has that lead evaporated now. So it's going to be game on between those two. We'll see what happens with Spinell when he gets ready to take his pit stop. As we see Antonio Race has been promoted up to P2 from the pits. So now it's just a matter of waiting to see where Spinell comes out in relation to these two cars. But definitely Nom has done a really good job of short pitting there, or Tabino made a little bit of a mistake. It took maybe some extra fuel. So now that gap has eroded down. It's basically 0.8 of a second as we see Spinell looking, and he is coming into the pits this lap. He's responding to the other two guys. So he's going to come in now, take his fuel. They don't take tires here. The tires do well enough during this 40 minutes of action that tire change is not needed. So we'll come in and we'll see what Spinell had. Looked like he had a pretty clean pit entry. There's a stoppage time. Did he have to back up? Almost looked like the timing maybe changed a little bit, like maybe he had to back up. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Spinell with a 14-second stop, so he should come out right around they're coming down the front straight. Spinell's going to come out. Is he going to be able to get in front? No, he is not. He's going to be right in the middle. Oh, right even with Nom, so be very careful there. Oh, so now we've got that 3-car battle that'll last till the end of the race. So now it's game on all over again. As Nom, it cost him a little bit of time with the pit exit of Spinell. So now Nom's going to have to just try and see if he can get that gap closed back up. 0.9 of a second. So just very much on the borderline of getting out of that draft range of these cars. As we see, Ball has now inherited the lead. 27 seconds over Tabino, still yet to pit for Ball. So I believe he is the last car yet to pit. He should be coming in this lap, the 32-minute mark. Get a look back from Nom's rear cam there at Spinell. The ball is in the pit lane. This should give Tabino the lead again. You see that gap still around the 9/10 of a second mark. Oh no, Tabino's having to come back into the pits. I wonder if he got maybe a, we'll see if it's a drive-through or if there's going to be a stop involved. Definitely is going to be a stop involved. So he's moved over. So just like that, out of the race lead, and tires going up, cars going up on the jacks. Tires are going to get changed, which I'm not sure he was expecting that as well. So that's Tabino out of the battle for the race win. The only thing I can think of is he got a pit speeding exit penalty, which would be about 25 seconds, I believe. So we'll see where he comes out. He's already had his tire changed, so it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game. We won't know unless maybe he tells one of the other drivers during, and we can get some information from after the race. I'm not sure. So we'll do a look here at Fernandez battling with Cathcart and Justice. Nice little 3-car battle there. So now, up front, we've got Nom leading the race. We've got Spinell in P2. Gap between those two cars is about a half second, and tightening up as they go through the long straightaway here. That gap will close up, and we'll see if Spinell's, up for maybe a pass at the end of turn one, going into turn one here. That gap's tightening down. It's now down to a quarter of a second. Not quite enough. So he's going to have to maintain that current gap in order to make the charge with about, going to guess, 4 laps left, something like that. As we see the spin there, that is Fernandez, I believe, that just spun, and he was in that battle with Cathcart and Justice, I believe. See if we can get a replay of that as we go through here. Yep, replay there from Josh, side by side. Cathcart on the right, wheel-to-wheel contact between Cathcart. I think Justice may have clipped him also as he came through. So wheel-to-wheel, all 3 cars. And that's put Fernandez down and out as he comes into the pits. And now back up to the front, Aero Nom and Spinell coming through Revolver. Tabino still, I think he's decided he is he's done for the day. He's out of the car. Said, you know what, that's just not a way out. I guess that's the way I'll end this race and get ready for the next one. As we back on board with Nom. That gap this time is decidedly closer. It's about 0.2 of a second. So we need to see if Spinell is going to be able to make that move going down into turn one as we ramp up the speed here, going down the front straight. See that gap tightening as he lifted. I think he lifted that time. So I think he's going to be playing a little strategy, waiting to the last lap to make that move. And it might not even be on the front straight. It may be coming down out of Atwood down to the hairpin for the final lap. It was really not the last real passing zone on the lap. I don't think that you can make a pass from coming out of the final quarter before you get to start finish line. I don't think there's enough space there to make that happen. So we'll just keep an eye on that as we're back on board with Justice. He's got Foy and Cathcart in front of him. Justice having a good run, up 11 positions. Pedro Carvalho up in 14th, is up 13 positions, having a great run. And Spinell has found his way around Nom. So I wonder if that was on the back stretch as we were talking about just a minute ago. the replay up here. Coming out of the hairpin. Yep, coming down the back stretch out of Atwood. Just staying on the inside, taking the inside line here, and laid on the brakes. Nicely done by Spinell, able to easily take that spot over Nom. So not great pass by Spinell. We come down the front straight with, I believe we're going to be 2 laps to go when we come by this time. See the cars in the background there, Ball, Lynn, Pereira, and Race in that group as we see Lynn looking to the outside, Ball staying defensive on the inside line there. As they come down out of 1, coming into the S's here, 2 and 3. Lynn looking. Ball just content to stay on the inside line and maintain that racing line. That good defensive racing line. Carrying good speed out of there. And he's going to stay inside. Lynn's going to come with him, give him a little push. Looking around to the outside again. It's going to be very difficult to pass here. He's going to have to be side by side and stay with him there and really let him the brakes. Lynn staying on that left side now has the advantage. And not quite done yet. Wow, great run by Ball just to hang on to the momentum there and keep Lynn pinned down a little bit, not able to really extend out coming out of those corners. As we see Fernandez is starting to get a little racy. Antonio Race as well is looking to get up in there and fight. Ball is in the final podium position for the overall as well as in Spec 1. So obviously, Antonio as a master driver would love to get up there and challenge for that final podium position in the overall standings. As we are down here, and I think this is going to be, white flag out last lap. As we see Spinell taking the lead going down into 1. Nom just behind him, coming down through the Moss S. So we'll be looking to get Nom to set up this run down the straightaway into the hairpin. As we see, and looks like Spinell just standard line through there. Try to keep his momentum up. Nom just trying to hit that run. Gap is about 1/4 of a second and closing quickly. We'll see if, Spinell moving to the inside, trying to hold that defensive line. We'll see if Nom can do a little better than Lynn did. Oh, no, absolutely not. Spinell late on the brakes, is able to hold off that spot. See, we've got 1 coming through the revolver. So see if Nom looks to the inside to try and do a late break here going into Redmond. And he's looking not quite enough there, but tighten that gap up significantly. They come out of Redmond into Hobbs. So his last opportunity is going to have to get a really great run coming out of the final corner. And maybe can get a run and get to the beat him down to the start finish line. Doesn't like it's going to happen. And as we get to the end here, it's going to be Spinell. And then Nom in P2, 0.12 of a second. Great run. Ball takes 3rd, Lynn 4th. Race Masters win. 5th place overall, Pereira green. As we wait for the rest of the cars to come around the track. Got a nice battle here between Brewster and Bose for the final podium position in Masters. Harris is crossed. Next car coming across will be Tom Laurie to round out the top 10 overall. DeGassis is through. Gets P2 in Masters. And final position in Masters is going to be Jim Brewster over Dana Bose. Carvalho takes P1 in Spec 2. Christian Cabanca 15th. We're waiting now for the rest of the cars. We still have several cars still on the track running their last lap. So you see a battle here between Peter True and I believe Ditchburn. And Foy comes across to take P2 in Spec 2. And this will be for the final position, and it's going to be True just nipping Ditchburn at the line to take P3 in the Spec 2 class as the rest of the cars come around. I still have a few cars left before we can get our final classifications. See Wilson Brozorosco. I think our last car will be, there we go, is Jackson, Paul Jackson in P25. I think the rest of the cars are off the track or I believe that should be it. So we'll wait for the wait for our SDK timing scoring software to update itself from all the cars, and we'll give you our final classifications for the race. A really good race. Great battle in that last lap between Spinell and Nom. Great battle between Brewster and Bose for that final position in Masters, and then nice job by True to just pip Ditchburn there at the line for the final position in Spec 2. So some really good battles all over the track. Very nice, very nice. So as we wait for our timing score indicated update, then we want to go ahead and just start the interviews, which we can do. And let's go ahead and get okay, if you got the as I'm talking to Josh, if you've got the classifications, let's do them. If not, let's go ahead. All right, and now our final results, race results. Sam Spinell with the win, Aaron Nom in second, Simon Ball third, and that rounds out your Spec 1 podium and overall podium. Yonk Shalin in fourth, Antonio Race in fifth, Masters class win. John Pereira 6th, Jason Green 7th, Michael McConnell 8th, Benjamin Harris 9th, Tom Laurie rounds out your top 10. Alan Gagassis, P2 in the Masters class, 11th overall. Jim Brewsters gets the final Masters class podium position in P12. Dana Bose in 13th. Pedro Carvalho with the overall Spec 2 win in 14th. Christian Kabeka in 15th. David Foy, second place in Spec 2. 16th position overall, Josh Justice, Brad Cathcart, Peter True with that last second pass of Ditchburn coming down to the start-finish line to get the final Spec 2 podium position. And again, Ditchburn in P20th overall. Moore Newman in P21, Wobolt 22nd, Murakami 23rd, Jacobson 24th, Paul Jackson 25th, Phil Fernandez 26th, Antonio Gonzalez 27th, Bruiser Roscoe in 28th, Kaj Hansen in 29th, Joao Tabino, disappointing result in P30, was leading the race for the first half. Xander Baruch in 31st, Russ Telker 32nd, Trent Kramer 33rd, Jason Perry 34th, Stevie Ray 35th, and then John Toms, I don't think even took the grid, and that rounds out your 36 car grid. So now let's do some interviews, and we'll get our race winner Sam Spinell in here. Sam, congratulations on the race win. For the first half of the race, looked like that Tabino was just going to kind of run away with it, but then pit stops happened. All you guys came back out basically on track together between you and Tabino and Nom. And then all of a sudden Tabino pitted for a second time for some reason, and then a great battle between you and Nom going all the way down to the finish.
Yeah, it was a really weird race because I thought Tabino, after lap 5, I thought he was running away with it. So I even considered dropping back behind Nam just to save some fuel. So I was really surprised when they pitted a lap earlier. And I missed my pit box when I came into the pits, so I had to go back. So at that time, I took a litre off. I just thought, let's just see what happens. And luckily, I finished with enough fuel in the tank.
Yeah, it was a great call. And I thought that I just was watching timing and scoring, did not have a good view of your pit box, but it looked like the timing and scoring kind of hiccuped a little bit, which would normally mean that the driver had to back up, but you were able to overcome that little mistake. Like I said, it was a great battle with you and Nom all the way down to the last lap. You made some really good moves and then had a really good defensive line over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, I mean, I've done 2 races now. They've both been fantastic. I think the championship itself is really fun. It's good for all types of levels, and I mean the level at the front's probably harder than I've had all week in the regular series. So it's been really, really fun.
Well, congratulations, Sam, and we'll hope to see you the next time that you're available to come back and race, and maybe that'll be next week. We don't know. So, but congratulations on your win.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. That was Sam Spinell, your race winner. Let's go to our Masters class winner and P5 overall, Antonio Race. We'll bring him in for an interview. Antonio, hey, congratulations. P5 overall, win in the Masters class. You had a
Hey, good night, guys.
you had a
I
pretty
think you are
interesting.
alone today, right?
I am, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell
I
you.
said good night, guys. Okay, good night, guys, for all the viewers and the drivers,
Yeah.
and you, of course.
Oh, thank you. So you basically were in that I guess second group with Lynn and Jason Green and Pereira for most of the race, and it looked like you guys were having a really good time just racing with each other and kept everything clean.
Yeah, it was really clean and then very nice. No problems at all. One touch here, one touch there, but nothing to concern about. It was a clean race and a very funny.
So after your escapades last week, are you glad that it didn't rain today?
No, I was sad. I was expecting the rain again. I want to revenge my last week, but no way.
All right. Well, congratulations, Antonio. We'll catch you, I'm
Thank
sure,
you.
in the Spec
Thank
Racer
you.
race coming up.
Okay. Yeah. Goodbye. See you.
All right. It was Antonio Race, our Masters class winner. And we're going to get him now. Let's go ahead and get Pedro Carvalho in here, who won Spec 2 and finished 14th overall. So we'll grab him up, pull him up. Pedro, congratulations. Spec 2 win, 14th overall. So tell us about your race. How did it go for you out there today?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the race. Great race. And first of all, apologize for my bad English and apologize for all. And thank you for the team, for João Tubino, my teammate. He's got disqualified, and all the first of all is for him about the setup. He gave me this setup, and it's possible to win this race. And just thank you for everyone for the clean race and to the help. I think it's Jim Brewster and Dana Bowes helped me too much to improve the distance for the car behind, and this is possible for the win. Thank you very much from the league.
Well, absolutely. Congratulations to you. I won't just start peppering you with questions. I'll since you're going to struggle with the English a little bit, my Portuguese is horrible, as in I don't have any. So we'll let you just go, and we'll say congratulations. And are you going to be running the Spec Racer race coming up?
Yes, sure, for sure. Maybe if I come here another time, I bring a translator.
there you go.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone.
Thank you, Pedro. Congratulations.
See you, Jim.
All right, Pedro Carvalho, our Spec 2 winner in class, 14th overall. We got time, Josh, for one more. We want to get Jim Brewster in here real quick. All right, let's go ahead. Let's grab Jim and bring him in. Jim getting on the Masters podium. There we go. Hey, Jim, congratulations. Was it P3 in the Masters class?
And not a drop of rain in the sky.
And not a drop of rain in the sky. I know you were disappointed not having the rain. And
I was a little bit.
We were concerned because looked at the weather forecast, said rain not likely, but an 80% chance. So we weren't really sure what was going to come out of that after last week. We weren't really sure of anything. So you just got some really good, some thanks from Pedro. Said you were doing a really
me and
good
Pedro
job.
and Dana had a good run. I took one shot at Benjamin and sort of blew it. I had to apologize because with the three of them, Benjamin, Tom, and Alan had a great race all race. And but then a lapper came out of the pits or something and got between us. And then I fell back in the clutches of Dana and Pedro, and we had a real good clean race. Real good laps, kept getting better lap times. But I knew if I made one mistake, those two would have been all over me. Hey, I got a surprise for you. My sister is going to be here in June. And I just wondered if you need an extra color commentator, if
absolutely.
She has no experience, but I really want to get the two of you together.
Just tell her she can translate when we need it for some Spanish. Does she speak Portuguese too, by the way, just out of curiosity?
No, probably just Spanish and English. But the main thing is she knows these guys. She's been watching for 3-4 years, so
yeah, absolutely.
She knows them. So I'll definitely try to get you guys together. She'll be up here during June, so I guess June 16th or June 23rd races. I'll try to get a hold with you and see what you want to do. See if you got any fun ideas.
Yeah, we may just bring her as a special guest. We just never can tell. So
okay. Hey, I appreciate all your work, Charles.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations. Get
Thank you
that
again.
final podium, and we'll see you in the Spec Racers.
Yep.
All right. That was Jim Brewster, P3 in the Masters class and P12 overall. So great run for him. And I think that's going to do it for our race today. We do have the Spec Racers coming up in just about an hour's time. So with that, for Josh Wilkie, I am Charles Beauchelle. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in an hour, or we'll see you next week for some more Weekend Warriors action. Have a good afternoon or evening.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.